Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, researchers can predict if your Kickstarter project will be successful in the first 4 hours, an Arduino that you touch, a dog collar that retracts, and an alarm clock that forces you out of bed. Plus, we announce the winners of our giveaway. It's been 1 year, guys, so sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast for crowdfunding projects. I am Ktdata, and joining me through disease, sickness, and everything else is the one
voice
and the one and only Drew Tyler. Drew, welcome to the show. I appreciate you denying your body rest and letting those buggers get a foothold in your body.
Man, I've got the worst sore throat I've ever had, so you're gonna have to take us through the show. But I thought I'd join you with my outfit, my Halloween outfit that I just picked up off the floor.
I thought that was your normal look.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah. But if you guys have never seen this show before, what Drew and I do, we go out, find cool crowdfunding projects, bring them back to you, and we let you know if you should back, track, or sack them on there. So before we kind of jump in, since Drew's not feeling too well, let's jump into some news. Our first news today is, what I like to show people is that Kickstarter and Indiegogo, there are other sites other than those two. So I found this cool one called Small Knot, and Small Knot kind of takes a different look into crowdfunding projects. So instead of kind of making it a national type thing where you're trying to find a lot of people and everything, Small Knot focuses on local communities, local businesses, the small mom and pop shops, and they're not struggling. But they need a little bit of capital to kind of expand. Say they want to redo their patio in their cafe or something, and they can't go get a loan from the business or from the bank or something because they won't let them or something like that because it's high risk to get a new patio on there. And they're more focused on getting smaller amounts. Like I think the largest amount I actually saw on there was like $20,000. So it's not too bad in business terms if you kind of think about it that. And they're not looking for a lot of national people, but they're looking for people that are actually in their community, whatnot, and want to support their store. Like there's a comic book shop right there, and the guy's looking for some money so he can actually buy some more stock, more inventory, and expand how much they're selling in their shop on there. So I think that's great. They also have a all or nothing or every bit counts campaign. So one where if you reach your goal, you get the money, and then the other one where you kind of get a little bit of money no matter what on there. The one thing that I'm a little fuzzy on is their website says it's a flat rate on what they take from the projects if they fund or not. So I don't know if they're really making any money off that, but I do like the idea of local businesses and local people helping each other. I mean, you guys see how excited when I see a Utah project featured on this show, and I get all super excited. So that is Small Knots right there.
Easy enough.
And then on to our next one. One of my other favorite things is science. And in this article that we found on, I think it was the Dot or the Spot something.
Daily Dot.
The Daily Dot, they actually reported on this paper that was published from a university, and these guys spent 9 months scraping information off Kickstarter's website, and they analyzed it, and then they used a mathematical model that combined both how much people shared projects on Twitter and some of the monetary functions. So like how long the campaign went, what their goal was, what were I think their pledge levels, maybe not the pledge levels, but the duration on that, and if they funded or not. Put those together into this fancy mathematical formula that I won't bore you guys with because I have problems understanding it. On there,
I was gonna say, did you break it down? Did you go through the mathematical formula?
I tried. Like
wow.
I understood most of it, but I don't know why they picked some of these things. But they kind of try to normalize everything because your funding projects can go from normally 30 days to 60 days. So they kind of normalized for all that right there. So they could make a comparison because obviously you can't make a really good comparison if you don't do that. Take X amount of people who backed it and whatnot. And then they were able to, this is the interesting thing, is that they were able to predict how successful the project was about 4% of their way into the project on there, which is that's really interesting on there. They even said that in the first 4 hours, they could predict if if the project would be successful or if it was fail with 76% accuracy.
Based on Twitter mentions and backers, like in that first 4 hours or something.
Yeah. So this is kind of a little preliminary because, of course, when you say social, there's Facebook, there's Google Plus and everything too. They couldn't scrape that information because Facebook likes to keep their information to themselves. On Twitter, they just kept polling it on there. So this is kind of promising on how accurate they can get. But for people who are thinking of starting their own project, it kind of highlights what you think. Think about your goal. Think about how a duration. They say closer to 30 days tends to be more successful than 60 days on there. So that's kind of a good thing to think about and share, and advertise.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to where when we had interviewed Austin Craig about his Life on Bitcoin documentary, one of the things that he talked about was just having the engine revving before you actually hit go. That way, in the first couple hours, you do see some traction right away, and that is promising because that starts things with the excitement of the first.
Yeah, and I think this is good information. Not only if you can put this into your project, you can find out, do you need to go advertise more because you're not going to hit your goals if you don't, or should you work more on trying to figure out your fulfillment and stretch goals because you know you're going to fund and you want to make it as smooth as possible. So it's kind of good for that. And it's kind of interesting. Yeah, like Laser Norm, that's a good point. It could change with Facebook information. I would love to find that out, but Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like us to find things like that. But this is really cool, and of course, remember it's preliminary. So this is their first baseline, and further studies need to be. But it's promising, and that's what science is all about: is taking one step at a time. So that is an awesome news story on there, and I was a little skeptical when I saw it, but after looking through it, it seemed a little positive. All right, let's jump into our projects on here. And
let's.
And our first project is a really, really cool one, in my opinion. It's called the Touch Board. So the Touch Board is actually a Arduino compatible device. It's not an actual Arduino, but it functions almost like the CPU and everything that's in it is the same as one of the Arduinos they have out there. So you can program it. So what it does is it actually transforms touch into sound. So it's the circuit board right here you guys can see on the screen. And if you look at the top of the circuit board, there are 12 little holes, and those are actually electrodes, which can be triggered by putting something conductive on there, like your finger or a hot dog.
Just a hot dog. Yes, anything.
Anything that can conduct low levels of charge on there. And then once you hit one of those, it will actually trigger the MP3 player that is on there and play a sound for you on there. And what's the cool thing about it is this company also makes a conductive paint. So, paint. Instead of using wires or anything, you can just paint it and it will conduct electricity. So what's cool about this is if you look right here on the screen, there's a B, C, D, E, F, like the alphabet written on the wall with the conductive paint, and it's actually hooked to the soundboard, the touch board right there. And what happens is when you press the A button, it will trigger off a sound on there, so it could say A is for Apple, and that is way cool for me. And you can hook it up to wires, you can hook it up to like steel wool and everything, and you can just play around with it on there. One of the cool things that they made as a proof of concept was they actually painted out a whole drum kit and put drum sounds onto the thing, and they were playing the drums on this flat board and just touching it and stuff. It also works as a proximity sensor too on there, so you can detect on how close or how far it is, which combined with the paint, you could have even better possibilities. Say you could paint something and then put a sheet of glass or plywood over it, and it still should work if you program it right. Another cool thing about it is that it is Arduino compatible, so you can take all those shields, like the Ethernet shields or mechanical shields that the Arduino has, and put it in. So you could actually hook it up and draw a light switch on your wall with their paint, and then you can just tap it and it can turn on and off a light.
Yep.
Or you can make your own MIDI board, anything like that. So it's compatible with that, and you program it just like an Arduino. In fact, if you hook it up to the Arduino IDE programmer, It actually reads it as a Arduino something leopard on there, or Leonardo, something with an L. So you can program it just like that, and it can be operated using USB or using a lithium polymer battery on there. So that's pretty standard. I think this is a great idea that you don't have to start from scratch. It's a great way to kind of get into these hobby circuit board kits because you can, like it works out of the box. You can take out the SD card and then replace the sounds, and then it will still make the sounds. And then if you want to take it a step further, you hook it up to the Arduino IDE and kind of look at the code, and you can see how it triggers everything and play around with that, and start buying all these different modules or shields as they call them, and play with it. And it's a great like entryway of going into it, and I think it's a brilliant idea.
This is fantastic. This reminds me of like the old 50 in 1, 200 in 1. They were like little build your own little component sets.
Yeah, like those Heath kits or those Radio Shack kits.
Yeah,
those were
exactly.
awesome. And
so that's what this reminds me of. I've actually followed Bear Conductive for a couple of years since I saw them out at a CES show where they were demonstrating the paint, their circuit paint as body paint. And so they had done some kind of artsy installations, and they have YouTube videos out there where they have body paint that conducts electricity. But just impressive, and it's a great way for them to kind of package it, make a little DIY kit, and send it out. So I love this one. This one is a track for me.
Yeah, I know, like making kids' rooms, you could make anything out of it. I think this is a great idea. For me, that's a back. What's it for you, Drew?
It's a back for me. I'll back that one.
Yeah, this is great on there. So that is the touch board. All right, let's go into our next one. Full disclaimer, I don't own any pets. Drew has pets, but I'll explain to you what this project is. This project is the Easy Daisy dog collar. I can imagine you can put it on a cat, but cats are prima donnas. So this is actually a dog collar that has a leash already integrated into it. And you're going like, wait, isn't that normal with dog collars? But no, what happens is there's actually a reel inside the dog collar. So you can actually reel the leash in and out. And when you don't have it reeled in, it just looks like there's a flower or a bow tie that it's actually on the dog. And they're just walking around, fancy things. People like dressing up their dogs. So this is not that much different there.
That's a little girl. Although, I might put one of these on my little girls. That would be awesome. It would look like a little cute little collar, and then I'd be like, get back here. And I'd grab the flower.
You can't run away. Don't run away.
Yeah, these are really cute looking, and I like what they've done. Obviously, it's for a smaller animal because it is. You see that cord right there. It's just a little drawstring, but these are meant for those little, 1 pound, 2 pound munchkin dogs that you should make stew out of. But still, I have one just like this, and yes, it would be darn cute to have one of these on her, and I'll never have to hunt for the leash again. That's a big problem for us. Is always, hey, who's got the leash? Where's the leash? And it's too big for her anyway. This would be actually quite ideal.
Yeah, I think it is a great idea. It's simple, but it's elegant and it works. And I don't think these are that expensive either. I don't know how much dog collars go for, but they don't look like they're going for too much on there.
That's probably double a dog collar. But if you're doing a dog collar and a leash, you're going to pay $25 or $30 right away anyway.
So it's a great idea. It's simple, and this kind of actually reminds me of. A lot of crowdfunding projects they don't have to be, totally a brand new idea or anything like that. Something as simple as this that solves a problem that everybody has. Why not try doing it, instead of trying to invent another smartwatch? I'm just a little touches a nerve a little bit for me, but hey, I'm still wearing my Pebble. People didn't think I'd still be doing, but I still wear it and I love it on there. So,
but you were hip. You did it first.
Yeah. Nothing like back in this project and waking up the next day and like, holy crap, they've already got $500,000. So Drew, for the Easy Daisy collar, is that a back?
Easy Daisy dog. I'd back it just because I have that kind of dog, and I love the idea of it being. I mean, those dogs are accessories. The little tiny dogs are accessories, and so to have a cute little collar on it that is functional, I'm all for that. So I'm back.
All right, I'm a back too, even though I don't own any pets. I think that'd be awesome. I guess I could put it on my stuffed dog right here, but I don't know if I have any use other than that for it. All right, So for our last project on the night, I don't know if you have this problem or not, Drew, but I am ridiculously horrible at waking up in the morning. It is bad. Like, I literally have about 10 alarms on my phone. I have another alarm clock that's set to ring, and I still struggle getting up in the morning. It's really, really bad on there. And one of the things that people tell me is like, oh, why don't you get one of those alarm clocks that like shoot a little propeller thing out into your room and you have to get up and put it back. And I've always been like, even if I do get up to try and turn it off, I'm not going to be cognizant enough to be able to find it. And then that's just going to aggravate me for the entire day because I won't be able to find it and like unplug the alarm clock. And that will be the one time I've used it on there. This final project that we have called the Lazy Alarm, if I can find the right lower third.
Oh, it was there. I saw it. That one's blank. That one's blank.
There we go. The Lazy Alarm. This is new tech TriCat. This is my Halloween costume, guys. Supposedly, I know how to use the switching system. The Lazy Alarm is actually an alarm clock that has two pieces to it. So it has the actual main alarm clock that you put next to your bed, and then there's a remote thing that you put as far away as you can in the house on there that will force you to get up in the morning. And then what it does is that the clock you can have up to 5 snoozes on there with intervals of 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30 minutes before you set your final alarm. So if you set it at 8 and you have it start at 30 minutes before, it will start ringing at 7:30, and you can snooze up to 5 times on there. Once it's actually on its 5th time, this alarm does not stop beeping, and it's an annoying beep. It's one of those beep, 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 beep ones that will drive you mad on there. So you have to get up and go find this and go press stop on the remote because the clock won't. And it's smart enough where the guy has a battery backup in it. So if you're like me and might get ingenious and trying to unplug it, guess what? It's still going to ring because there's a battery in there. And if you're at the point of trying to pull out a battery, you're probably awake on there.
Yeah, big problem.
I'm just saying, you're probably awake at that moment. So I like this a little bit better than the propeller thingies because I don't have to go find it. I know where the remote is. It's just on the other side of the house, so I have to go get it on there. And if I'm up, I'm good to go. Like, if you can get me out of bed, I am good to go. It's just getting me out of bed is the tough part on there. And so I think it's a great idea. Kind of iterates on there. The only thing that I don't know about is if that remote is battery powered or not. Because that could make a difference. I could see the battery dying and me not being able to turn off the alarm clock, and that might aggravate me. But that probably would only aggravate me for one day. And you know, like the guy who kind of planned this out thought of everything that I would, you know, desperately try to stay in bed, like by unplugging an alarm clock. Yeah.
No, so, I don't have the problem. So it's an interesting idea. I like the idea. I'm more the kind of guy that would rather like track my sleep patterns and let something wake me, you know, with a little nudge. What are they have a couple of those that'll do that. Or the one that's like, we'll play soft sounds for 20 minutes so we don't get to full volume until, you know, your set time.
I've tried those. Those don't work for me.
Yeah, I never get a chance to use them either because my kids are up at 7 and every day, 6:30 or 7, and so I just never get a chance to even use an alarm.
So you're telling me that's the solution then, is to have kids instead of
kids, and or my other option is I never schedule anything before 10 a.m. So you know,
I wish I had that luxury.
This semester, my earliest class is 10:30, and that's only twice a week.
I actually had a professor that would have a 7:30 class, and she's like, I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes in those classes. I'm just on automatic.
Nice. I've done that once.
Well, see, yeah, Laser Norm, there are some people that would kind of be annoyed if you'd have to go find something, but that's what I like about this, is that I'll know that it's right, you know, in the bathroom, so I'll have to go turn it off. I have to walk to the bathroom and turn it off. Hey, look, I'm already in the bathroom. Might as well jump into the shower, and then I'll be good for the rest of the day.
I could see that. I can see some logic there.
But you know, it's one of these things that are for different people because I love that annoying sound because you can't ignore it. It's like you want to kill someone. That'll get you up in the mornings, at least for me. I'm bad.
I'll tell you what. For this one, it's a track. I'll track you, whatever you're doing.
I'm going for a back on this because I love this idea of an alarm clock, and I don't have to go find a flying thing that fell behind the bed or something, because that would annoy me. Because like I know it, I can't reach it.
All right, then I'm tracking your back.
Yeah.
Not my style.
Oh man, I'm spending a lot of money this episode. On there. Okay, I might not get the dog leash.
Okay. Give and take.
But if I had a dog, I would get it.
There you go.
All right, Drew. So this is the time where everybody in the chat room has been waiting for it. If everybody's known, for the past 2 weeks, we have been running a contest because this is actually the 2-year anniversary for the KickCast, or 1-year anniversary, wrong show. 1-year anniversary for the KickCast. Why'd I name all my podcasts with K's? On there. So we've been doing this for a whole year. I just wanted to say thank you guys for following along. You know, I had this crazy idea. I'm like, hey, go talk about Kickstarter projects and find cool things like that. And thank you all of you guys for being along. So we had a contest on here and we had 27 entries on there. So if you entered, there's a high chance that you could have won something on there. So for our contest winners in order of first to fourth, we actually had 4 prizes. I probably said 3 last time. But our friend Dave Michael, or Sales Geek, messaged me and like, hey, you want to give away a Nerdtacular swag bag? I'm like, oh, sure. I'll give it. Why not? Because I love Nerdtacular, and we had a special episode of it, and we've had, you know, with Tom Merritt, Andrew Allen, and Chinbeard on there. So they're friends on there. So that is awesome. So here are our winners. Our first place is Jason S. Second place is Austin C. Coons. I see you in the chat room right there. Third place is Visal P. from our friends at So Simbo Photography. And fourth place is Laser Norm on there.
Excellent.
So what's going to happen is for all these 4 people, first of all, congratulations.
Congratulations. Let me sing you a song. Rock on! That was my sore throat song.
So it sounded good. You should go on tour.
Yeah. Way to go, guys.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Jason, email him, and tell him, hey, you're the first place winner. Here are the 4 prizes. Pick one of the 4, and then I will email Coons after that. Here are the 3 remaining prizes all the way down to Laser Norm on there.
You get what's left over, dude.
Yeah, you get the sloppy force. But the fun thing is, all of these prizes are cool. Like, I would have kept some of these, like the Yukio Heroes print. That's cool. The mayonnaise. This thing is awesome. On there, even the swag bag. I already have one of the swag bags. There's some cool stuff in there. So and your 3D printed dinosaurs. So Drew's funded. So
yep, you're funded.
Fun times on there. So congratulations, guys. And if anybody else who's watching, make sure you guys go check out our sister podcast, the Ktdata Anime Podcast. We're giving away another print of this really cool Japanese temple that Vasal actually took on there. He's not eligible to win in those contests.
He can't win his own print. It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's an awesome picture.
Yeah.
But you can enter, Drew. We're also giving away some Blackrock Shooter Nendroid Petites and a Hyper Neptunia t-shirt over there. So those are stuff over there, but I still have more contests going for ktdata.net in general, where somebody's going to win a Wii U and Iron Man bobbleheads and Iron Man 3D glasses.
So cool.
On there. Full disclaimer, all the hosts other than me are eligible to win the ktdata.net contest. So Drew and Dito are eligible to win that Wii U. It's totally because I don't pay them, so I might as well give them at least a fair chance of winning that.
If you're such a humanitarian, if I had all of that swag and all that goody stuff to give away, I'd be like, you guys, I got a couple of dum-dums up on top of the fridge that I'm going to try and give away next week, so tune in. Yeah. So that's awesome, KT. Yeah. Thanks.
Plus, in all reality, I just need another person on my Wii friend list. It's kind of sad. So make sure you guys pay attention to ktdata.net. All the contests will be listed there. If you guys have any feedback for projects, if you think that dog collar is stupid or they should have made a big dog version, email us at kickcast@ktdata.net, or you can leave it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast, or on Twitter at KickCast or on the Google Plus at plus.kickcast.net.
We are all over.
Just everywhere, even on Pinterest, pinterest.com/Ktdata. There's a whole board on there. Board. And of course, you can always watch live, just like everybody, like Laser Norm and Coons in the chat room right there. Our next live show is November 12th, 2013, and you can find that at live.kickcast.net. We start about 9 p.m.-ish Mountain Time on there, so just come on in, chat around, and you see a lot of things that don't make it to the final cut.
Yes, that's what's so fun.
Yeah. So, Drew, thank you. And thank you for being part of this awesome first year. I hope you stick around for many years to come.
I got no plans to go anywhere. This is a lot of fun. Thank you.
And thank you guys at home. Thank you guys in the chat room. All of you guys are awesome. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. I do have the show notes here, but let's wing it. Coming up on this episode of the KickCast, can researchers figure out if your project's successful in the first 4 hours? Yeah, I should probably have the show. Can researchers predict if your Kickstarter and an alarm clock that forces you out of bed? I didn't write the. Plus, we announced the winners of our giveaway. It's been I almost said 2 years again. Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, I am a researcher and I can't even say the word.